Okay, so it is 4 in the morning. Oh jeez. And I'm attempting to get down to Tiananmen Square to see the flag raising. I'm actually surprised that I'm even coherent at this hour in the morning. I've only got about 3 hours of sleep, but it's something I read about in a book yesterday, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do that tomorrow. Because if I don't do it tomorrow, I'm probably never going to do it. So I'm going to try to catch a cab, and we'll see how that goes.
It took a little longer than I'd expected to find a cab to take me to Tiananmen Square, but given the hour of the morning, I was surprised that anyone was out at all. The streets were all but empty, and the cab driver took this as a signal to drive as fast as he wanted. I would have been just fine with him driving a little bit slower. I hadn't, after all, woken up this early to end up in a hospital. As we drove, the sky began to get a little lighter. I was able to see the silhouettes of some of the skyscrapers of downtown Beijing. It was a different city than what I was used to. It was calm and quiet. I knew in less than an hour, though, the sun would rise, and so would the millions of residents of Beijing who would bring the city to life. 25 minutes into the cab ride, I realized that I may not make it to the flag raising. It was taking a little longer to get to Tiananmen, and in the distance I could see flashes of light in the sky, a low rumble heard in the distance. Assuming this wasn't a military training exercise, I figured a storm must be rolling in. And despite the near warp speed my driver decided to go at, we still hit red light after red light, which only delayed my arrival. The cab driver must have been able to tell that I was getting anxious and drove a little faster, but soon enough, I was on the square with mere minutes to spare. There were a lot more people in the square than I thought there would be for this hour in the morning, and I was the only non-Chinese person among them. A large crowd had gathered in front of the flag. I figured that's where I needed to be. I stuck out like a sore thumb as I joined the crowd, not because I was an American or was substantially taller than most of the Chinese present, but because, like a true tourist, I had a digital camera in one hand and a video camera in another. After joining the crowd, it wasn't long before the guards came out from beneath the massive Mao portrait and the procession began. And just like that, it was over. The guards marched off, the crowd dispersed, and the storm that had been waiting in the distance moved in. I did have higher expectations for the ceremony, but I was still glad I'd made the journey to the center of the city that morning. You really can't come to Beijing without seeing the flag-raising ceremony, I'd been told, and it was nice to be able to check this one off my list. Now all I had to do was wait out the storm and catch a ride home.